Hello, hello, hello.
Hi? Is there an echo here or something?
Is there anybody in there?
In the pub, we don't know. We're gonna walk there in a couple minutes. What's wrong with you? What have you been drinking?
Just not if you can hear me.
I can hear you. The headphones work just fine.
Okay, good. Well, we're going to be diving into some deep depths of perception during this episode.
Okay, well now I'm really latching onto this carrot that you're dangling in front of me.
Uh-huh.
What are we doing?
Well, let's go ahead and head into the pub, grab a pint, and join us on this episode of Life in 16 Ounces. Welcome to Life in 16 Ounces, a show that raises a pint to the explorers,
The adventure seekers,
those wanting to break free from the norm,
to fill their glasses with memorable experiences.
and basically have a good time. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Paul.
Hey, let's get the show started. This episode, we discover the world beneath our feet and speak with a geologist and caver who descend into the upside down.
Wait a minute, is that trademarked?
No. Next, we warm up to 2021 by drinking beers inspired by the winter season in our first beer dome of the new year. That in our usual crack in this episode of Life in 16 Ounces.
Hey, buddy. Sound like Pauly Shore.
Uh-huh.
You looked a little wobbly sitting down. How's your 2021 going?
You know what? This year is almost as bad as 2020 already. And we're still in January. Yeah. Well, let's maybe we should talk about the little mishap we had not that long ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went out.
This is like a court proceeding. It's being recorded by the stenograph person.
Yeah. So I went out with Dusty Bottoms, Jeff Rowe.
Literally.
Yeah, we literally went out to Lake Chabot, which is a place that's near Oakland.
San Leandro.
Great place to go.
Near Drake's if you want to get really beer technical.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So went out there for a run, and I was going to take him and another gentleman named Thomas to a brewery that they hadn't been to before. That I wanted to, and we don't have to get into the name of that, right? No, okay, not at all. So I hadn't been running in, oh my gosh, months and months and months and months. Anyway, we did 11 miles.
Trail miles too.
Trail miles,
Yeah.
which are different.
Yeah, but still. Either way, 11 miles is insane for not doing any running.
And I'll be honest with you, I was right at the end of my threshold of pain for that run anyway, and luckily got through it. Whatever, no big deal. Moved on to the brewery. And you met up with us there. Had a couple of brews and spent a couple hours just hanging out.
Yep, you guys were doing samplers.
Yes, yeah, great stuff.
And looked tired, and looked like you really need those carbs to rejuvenate the bodies.
And rehydrate. So on our way out, and we had several, but I will say that we had a designated driver, so we didn't go off the deep end or anything.
I did.
But Buddy Boy here decided to, I don't know if we were, you probably remember better than I do. There are reports that say that we were wrestling. Other reports say that you had jumped on my back for a piggyback ride. I don't really remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, the only thing I remember was that I might have, because I think we were jabbing at each other as we were paying our bills. I remember that, and then we walked out, and I think you took off, and maybe I was just happy to see you, and I wanted to show my love, and I just jumped on your back. I don't recall us wrestling. I do remember somehow seeing you just collapse in this heap of agony.
Yeah, I collapsed right onto the concrete, if I remember correctly, and it was kind of a twofold thing. I fell, and then there was additional weight. That was,
my fat ass, which is quote unquote my fat air quotes my fat ass.
So my legs had gone out from underneath me, and my right leg was bent slightly, and there was, after the initial fall, there was, like I say, there was an initial kind of a secondary feeling of pressure of weight on the right knee, and there was some pops. There were some.
It was almost like it's a trifecta, right? So it was you ran, then I jumped on you, then you collapsed, and your knee hit the concrete, but it also bent in a strange way. I think all those is a perfect storm for an injury.
So I said all of that to say that I'm in studio with at least a brace for now, and hopefully I won't have to go back for an MRI.
No broken.
Nothing broken.
So maybe a deep bruise.
Yeah, definitely that.
And not only he's got a deep bruise, and I have a deep bruise in my
in your soul.
In my soul.
Well,
because after that, okay. So recently, my kid she got a hoverboard for Christmas, and my dumbass tried to jump on it now and then. I've done it successfully. But for some reason, I tried to do it after I had a beer. This is, by the way, folks, life in 16 ounces.
Yeah.
So I got on the dumb thing, and I tried to hop over a little bump in our hallway, and I collapsed in a heap and struck my elbow, which still hurts like the dickens today. And it brings me back to when I saw you fall and clumped in a heap. I wanted to be left alone. Like, don't touch me. Let my body, my shock, figure it out.
Yeah, that's what I did. I was like, no.
I know, and so I kind of, and it felt like maybe I did that way more than I should have. I stared at you longer than I should have, and I don't know what happened, but I do remember somebody came out from the establishment and was asking the questions. Of course, in the COVID situation, we all don't have masks on, so it's even that more. Strange and very, I don't know, just idiotic in a way.
Did a lady ask to call the police? Is that what I remember hearing?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, maybe.
I was like, no, just leave me alone.
Maybe.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, maybe it looked like a fight from the back. I don't know. But
so
anyway.
If you were to see us, obviously I wouldn't be the winner in the fight. Jeez.
But Thomas and Jeff pulled up in the vehicle, and they quickly got out and went swooping in, picked you up, and then carried you off into their vehicle, and then there you go. And I was like, okay, that's that. And then after that, that's when things just got strange for me, because I had Brandon's phone in my hand. I'm not sure how I got it. Maybe it fell out when he collapsed. And the rest of the evening was just very odd, I'm sure, for both of us.
Yeah. When I got home, they brought me to the front door, and of course Jeff was like, speaking to my wife, he was like, "I swear this had nothing to do with the run." I mean, he was just like adamant. Looks, this did not happen during the run, and so. When I get
because all he had to say was it was his friend Paul. She just that's all I needed to hear.
Typical.
Those two idiots, I swear. When they're two together, something crap happens, which is so true.
Well, hopefully the next couple of months will be fruitful, and we will find different activities other than falling on each other in the middle of a parking lot.
At a certain age, you go, well, how many more lessons can I learn in my life? And you go, damn it, I keep on learning these lessons. Stop doing this, learn from that. And yet they still trickle in as you get older and older. Hopefully not as often as, well, one of the first songs that I thought of was that country song, Alcohol, where the guy goes, we were best friends in college, and we did all these fun things and hanging on a chandelier, and I was you made me strong enough to talk to people, and and making white people dance. Alcohol, my friend, alcohol. That's what I thought of. It's like thinking, man, what would my life like if I didn't have my friend alcohol with me?
Yeah.
Speaking of alcohol, let's get into some beer news. Thank you. Pliny the Younger. We're going to go start on the California side of the nation. I stood in line
that was last year, right?
Last year or 2 years ago for Pliny the Younger for 3 hours or 3.5 hours. Well, that's not happening this year. Thank you. Thank you for that bat and that rat that had sex or something in China.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think it was, yeah. But they will be shipped. They're going to ship Pliny the Younger to, I guess you're going to sign up. I would love to click on the story, but it's on one of those stupid paid firewalls that I'm not going to give money to these news outlets, these lame-ass news outlets. But anyway, yeah, Pliny the Younger will be shipped this year. All right. Bell's Brewery from Michigan. So we're going to jump halfway across the nation.
Okay.
Apparently, for you people out there in the Midwest, there's a term that you guys use, some sort of colloquialism, whatever it's called, a saying. Like, no, yeah. No, yeah.
No, yeah.
No, yeah means yes, apparently.
The only thing I know from back there is they call soda
pop.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, Bell's is releasing their No Yeah, which is a 4.5% golden ale. And it's being seen as, which I'm seeing this a lot too, more alternatives to high ABV beers. I mean, there's tons of them out there, but I'm starting to notice a little bit more non-alcoholic, low calorie.
More of the session stuff then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, No Yeah. Maybe we can grab one of them because, I mean, so far I've been loving everything from Bell's.
Yeah, well, that's funny that you started with Pliny, Russian River, and then went to Bell's,
which is
who happened to be like the first and second beers in the nation, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And Pliny the Younger is a 11%.
Oh my, yeah, I think it is.
Obviously, Bell's is coming out with a 4.5. So
perfect.
Interesting. Good way to look at it. So let's go all the way to the East Coast to our friends in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, Yuengling.
Traveling.
So Yuengling, as we've mentioned before in previous episodes, they're starting to creep across the Mississippi, and their first state to distribute to will be Texas.
Everyone's going to Texas.
Are they? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Texas is, well, I know the four daughters. I mean, I guess if you want to go across the Mississippi and creep into the rest of the states, let's bite off as much as you can chew, which is Texas. It's a huge beer market, and it's pretty interesting because our buddies at Horny Toad, they're going to be out there and they're going to see this invasion of a beloved, mass-produced, mainly lager beer, which one fan does said, it's the best tasting mass-produced beer because he doesn't drink Coors Light, doesn't drink Bud Light, doesn't drink Miller Light, but he does drink Yuengling. And then some people, like I said, have a love-hate relationship. Many people are willing to travel hundreds of miles to pack their trunk or boot or bonnet or hatchback or whatever you want to call it with cases of Yuengling.
Oh, so, I have a friend who lives in Indiana who did get his hands on some of the Hershey.
That's what I want to get my hands on.
Yeah.
Porter.
Yeah. Well, it never came my direction. Thanks, Josh. But I do have another friend who lives in Texas. So we will. His name's Richard. I'll be we got to get calling in a favor.
Yeah, we got to get somebody. I mean, we're still waiting for I got your 6.
Yeah.
From Millhouse. All right, one last one. I've noticed this a few times, and this is from a brewery company called Clam Lake Beer Company. And honestly, I don't know exactly where they are, but it must be cold because
Boston.
On their Facebook page, they had a dude who looked like a dude, who acted like another dude, sitting outside of their establishment, drinking a beer during a snowstorm. Well, it went viral, and people obviously been going, hey, look, we need to find a way to get away from our houses and feel like we're at the bar, the brewery, the pub. And so and I've been seeing this a few times, is they're creating these bubbles or pods. And in some cases, they literally look like bubbles. You go and you sit next to a table surrounded by plastic, and that's your little social bubble.
That puts a brand new spin on a safe space, right? This is my
is
my safe space.
Yeah, exactly. Or the bubble boy.
Oh.
And they're talking about an eye catcher. I mean, you turn the corner and you go, "What the hell are those?" I mean, that's one way to bring in clientele. But
those pod people.
I'm assuming they go in afterwards and they clean them out and but I've seen them even closer than the ones they're showing on their page here. It's an actual restaurant, and a friend in Pennsylvania was at one where they dropped down these almost like a Get Smart silence bubble or these wedding decor, and it looked like you were surrounded by those lanterns, and it looked confined, to be honest with you, around this table. But at the same time, a confined space means you've contained whatever nastiness might be coming out of your mouth. And this is one way, an inventive way that places are finding opportunities to serve their customers.
Now, if they were dangling in midair, that would be something.
That'd be like a treetop brewery. Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. All right, well, there you go. There's beer news for you, and let's get into our story, yeah?
Well, no.
Oh, no, yeah?
Yeah,
no, yeah.
Yeah. I'm already getting thirsty. I don't know about you. But
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I do. I hear her.
Is
Tina
she?
Turner.
There she is.
Oh, there she comes, baby.
That means it's time for...
Beardo!
I want a beer.
Beer.
We should get some road beers, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get some road beers. No alcohol? This place sucks.
I can't take this much longer. I gotta have a beer. Brilliant!
Before we dive into our story in a few minutes, that wonderful sound you heard means it is time to feature our head-to-head beer game called
Beardo! For January, we have picked winter ales or winter-inspired ales.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the greatest podcast beer game on earth.
That's a little bit egotistical, isn't it?
And we have got a doozy for you. In my corner, from the Brewing School of Elysian, hailing out of Seattle, Washington, weighing in at 8.3% ABV with 58 IBUs, and wearing a blue and white label with snow-covered trees in a winter wonderland. It's the Bifrost Winter Ale.
And in my corner, from the Brewing School of Sun King, hailing out of Indianapolis, Indiana, weighing in at 5.5% ABV with 23 IBUs, and wearing a label that has a neon outlined reindeer, it's their Electric Reindeer Beer.
All right, here are the rules. The beers must be kept close to each other as possible, meaning no triple IPAs versus IPAs or stouts versus imperial stouts. Get it? Got it? Good. The beers will be served at the proper temperature according to the Nevada Heat Gun Commission. In the case of winter ales, that's between 50 degrees and 55 degrees. All right, clink glasses and go to your corners.
All right, pry those open, pour us a taster, ring that bell, let's have a clean fight. Sláinte. Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Do you remember how we finished off last year on a high note?
Yes, with the person that climbed to the Everest Base Camp. Yes.
Yeah. Well, 2021 doesn't look any different than 2020, right?
Right.
So we're going to start off on a low note.
Oh.
Oh, yes. And so with us.
How witty you are.
Oh, well, I know. So with us on the phone, we have from Alaska, of all places.
Okay.
I know.
That's a lot of high places up there.
It is. There are, yes. We have the geologist for the Tongass National Forest and the Prince of Wales, Miss Anna Harris. Thank you, Anna, for being on the show.
You're welcome, but it's Anna.
Anna. Gosh dang it. I keep getting that mixed up. Anna. So, Anna, how in the heck does anyone even get involved in this almost lost hobby of caving? And it's caving, right? It's not. I think I heard that spelunking is not even the term anymore.
Yeah, people use cavers, especially amongst each other, but you can call it either way, spelunking and caving. But everyone gets into it in a different way. Like, I think mostly you just have to come across cavers, and they sort of, talk about their underground, explorations, and either perks your interest or you're like, oh wait, I am not interested in that. Or if you grew up near caves, but for me, I grew up in Philadelphia area. Like, I was not thinking about caves. And I just applied for an internship up here in Alaska, and that's how I got into it. And then I just kept following the caves and cavey people. And that's when I realized there was actually a caving community.
Let me ask you this, though, because you mentioned Pennsylvania, or at least Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
And I just brought up a list of caves in the United States.
There's caves in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6. But eventually we're going to get to this question, but they don't have Alaska labeled at all. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, we're talking to somebody who does caving in Alaska, and this stupid Wikipedia page doesn't even have Alaska's caves on it. So maybe they're not.
Oh, Wikipedia. Someone needs to update that.
Exactly. But my question comes to you is what are the difference between a cave and a cavern?
The cavern is just like a big room, like this cavernous room.
I'm thinking like caverns are more touristy driven, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna be talking to a cave buddy and be like, "Yo, let's go to the cavern."
Yeah, like if your parents or somebody say, "Hey, do you want to go to the cave or the cavern?" You're like, "Cave sounds scary as hell, but cavern sounds fun."
Cavern sounds like a bar.
There you go.
So how does one even get into this? Is there special equipment that they need to purchase before they go out? I mean, what are some of the things that you would tell people who wanted to get involved in caving?
Well, there's a lot of different difficulty levels in caving, but starting off, you just need basically a helmet, 3 light sources, some good clothes, depending on where you are, like some rain pants if you're just walking. But then the minute you get into vertical caves, when you start to need equipment like ascenders and rappel racks and rope and carabiners and chest harness and just like a general feet harness. But you can start off with just a headlamp and 2 backup lights. It's not, it doesn't have to be super difficult. It's depending where you are too. Like, I was going to school in Kentucky, and there's definitely vertical there, but there's a lot of just 4-hole walking. You could walk for miles. You could like practically run through Mammoth Cave, and it's pretty warm in Kentucky caves. So it's like 55 degrees, throw on a t-shirt, a pair of pants, and you can just walk for miles if you wanted to.
So she mentions Mammoth Cave, which is funny because I just brought that up as well. It's 285 miles underneath southern central Kentucky. It's the world's largest cave system. That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, longest.
Yeah, longest. But once you have gone into a cave system, and it's mapped quite well, and obviously you have the proper skills, you could obviously go down there with diving equipment because you need to go submersible and go under pools and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, caving can be extremely difficult, or it can be, super easy, walking on even like a trail or a bridge. There's even a cave in Kentucky called Hidden River that has 2 suspension bridges. And I'm pretty sure they are the only cave that has suspension bridges in the world. At least that's what they were advertising. So you can get into a wild, deep, crazy cave that requires tons of technical skill, or you can go for a nice walk up some stairs over a bridge, all types of stuff. There's even like cafeterias in some caves, like within Mammoth, like from back in the 80s and such.
Like a high school cafeteria?
Like where tourists would go and eat. And
okay.
I actually think this one room was like the fried chicken room, and they ruined the ceiling formations in the cave from all the grease from the fried chicken.
There's some more sloppy joes for you.
Thanks, Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Now, Anna, can you kind of tell us a little bit about the Glacier Grotto? And I understand that you guys are going to be celebrating a 50th anniversary of sorts.
Yeah. So the Glacier Grotto, like we were talking about, it's been around since the 70s. And, you know, when I first got into caving, I was reading, you know, the few papers, articles, whatever, anything I could find online about these old time cavers that were up in Alaska doing all this super cool work. So after my first summer up here, I wanted to know everything I could. And so there's all these different names like the Allreds and, you know, Jay Rockwell, all these people that I was reading about. And I was just like, they were heroes to me, you know? And so I never dreamed that a couple years later, I would actually get to meet some of these people and get the grotto up and running again. And so I'm happy to say that we are now officially the Glacier Grotto again. During the 50th year, we have members that are actually paying dues. We've got about 25 members right now who've paid their dues for the 50th year. And so this summer, we plan on actually having an expedition. So people are going to come here. We're going to cave all together again. And we just have so many projects to work on and caves to map. So it's really exciting. And it's great because we have these people who've been with the Glacier Grotto for years who are going to be coming back here. And then we've got this group of young people that I've met, people that other people who've worked at Beer have met throughout in the caving world. And so all these people are just going to come up to Alaska and we're all going to converge. And yeah, it's really awesome to learn from these people who have been doing this for decades, you know?
So do you have room for a couple of Californians to come up there and check this out during the summer? Or?
Oh, yeah. Is that you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us. The one guy who's
$2 and you can be a caver.
Yeah. Yeah, he's describing to both of us the one, and one of them has already admitted that he has claustrophobia.
So Anna, we heard about this cool tool called the LiDAR. Can you explain a little bit about it and how it's helping map the caving systems?
Oh yeah, it's been a huge game changer because LiDAR essentially is bald Earth. So, you know, it is crazy forested here. So it's hard to see anything through aerial photographs. So before that, you know, Jim Batesville, the forest geologist, he was mapping karst features from aerial photographs by looking for, you know, spaces in the trees, looking for super big trees like Sitka spruce, which love to grow on karst features. But now that we have LiDAR, we can actually see depressions on the Earth. So you can do a fill that actually fills these depressions with color, and you can tell that it's like a deep feature of some sort. So once you pick through all the things like rock quarries and, you know, areas that aren't karsty but might be showing some depression-like features on the surface, you can look at an area and be like, wow, there's a line of sinkholes right here. I'm going to bring this map on my iPad of, you know, and go out there and actually walk to these features. Because before, you know, you've just got your GPS, this aerial photograph, and you're looking at treetops, and you're sort of, you know, you're going in there a little more blindly. Versus now, it's like we've just got the key to the karst. So that's a lot of what we'll be doing this summer is taking these this LiDAR map that we now have, Prince of Wales Island, and going to these areas that we haven't looked for karst features before, and now we know to go look and where to go look, and yeah, seeing what we find. So it's super exciting. There's just so much work to be done, like huge areas of karst that have not been mapped on the ground. So that's a lot of what we'll be doing.
Yeah, it's amazing just to look up the LiDAR, which for our audience, by the way, is LIDAR. And just if you bring it up, it's quite interesting just to see the stuff that they've already discovered or able to see. And it's a lot of reading, but honestly, it's for the people to geek out on. There you go.
Right. Well, Anna.
Yeah, and it's online, so.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, a lot of the LiDAR is available online for people to cruise around.
Well,
and look at areas.
To me, it's one of those another exploration. So, you know, we've talked, Alaska happens to be, quote unquote, the last frontier, but, you know, we're running out of places to explore, things to do. But it's funny how technology kind of gives us a little nudge forward in a way to see things differently. And I mean, obviously the cave systems around the world are crazy interesting and extremely unexplored. But even for the bottom of the ocean's floor is just another place that to me is crazy. Because it's weird because I'm a scuba diver, yet I'm a little bit claustrophobic, and I've gone caving and I love it. But it's one of those moments where you leave the comfort of the rock wall or the coral, and you go into open water. But by the way, another movie, and I just look out into this darkness and I'm going, yep, there's a sea monster out there and it's gonna go snatch me. And
so that's where my mind goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
no, it is the best feeling, not really being able to see what's around you because it's obviously dark. You've just got your headlamp on.
Yeah, there's a bit of almost like tunnel vision, not necessarily. Well, I guess even if you climb at night, which I've done many times, there's a depth perception situation too, because you don't see what's around you. Is that something where you kind of have just to train your mind and your body to go, hey, relax, everything's fine, you're under control?
Yeah, I think some people do better with that than others. When you turn off all the lights and you can't see, you lose that, it's one of your major senses that you have. And all of a sudden, if you sit there quietly, you're sort of meditating, you start to hear things like even louder because your ears start to tune in. Like all your other senses awaken more so because you can't see. And it's just this natural response that your body has. So I feel like when you are caving, when you're doing sort of anything that's, taking one of your senses away in a sense, you sort of like get into this more focused mindset and sort of become one with your surroundings more so. And I think that's probably what keeps a lot of people coming back. It's just like that feeling. Being underground, it's just a feeling. It's like some type of like hug that comes over your body. I can't describe it totally, but.
So what is do you actually have a bucket list? Do you have, because I know I can pretty much guarantee you probably talk to a forum of other geologists from beyond Alaska within the Forest Service. So do you guys talk about people, because I'm looking at Missouri apparently is the cave state, and I'm sure region whatever 3 or something has got a geologist there that would probably enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, I've never been to Missouri, but definitely a cave place, lots of that. I'd love to go on an international trip to go caving. I'd love to go to Huatla or Cheve, like down in Oaxaca. Like the deepest caves in the Western Hemisphere are all lurking there. So that would be like bucket list, once I get to be a stronger vertical caver. It'd be super cool to go underground for 2 weeks on an expedition.
Yeah, I'm looking up.
I've just heard so many amazing stories.
Right, I'm looking up Georgia. Apparently, Georgia, the country of Georgia, not the state, folks. But yeah, the country of Georgia has a lot of the deepest caves in the world.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to showcase? Something that we may have missed at some point, or?
No, I think that's it. Look up your neighborhood cave and go check it out. You never know, you might be a caver.
Anna, we appreciate it so much. And
it's Anna. No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah.
We'll actually do a little more research on it. We'll definitely try to at least get out to a cave soon. We certainly like the sterilization part of the equipment because, that's all COVID related.
Yeah, I know. We're good at this now.
Yeah. It's like, how can you socially distance? In a cave, you can really social distance.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely promote caving. And is there a particular website people can go on to learn more about maybe even on the National Forest site?
That is something that we've actually been talking about that we need to do. But 2021 is the International Year of Cave and Karst. And so the Park Service will be doing a big thing about, what's beneath your park. And then we are going to be doing the same for National Forest. So hopefully people will start to hear the word karst and cave more so in the year of 2021. You're listening to Life in 16 Ounces. What's in your pint? In mine, I've got Alaskan hypothermia and caving.
So I also got a chance to talk to David Love, who was the past president of the Glacier Grotto. He's now the treasurer, and he had tons of historical information about the caving club and lots to talk about.
Well, exactly 50 years ago, there were 7 NSS, National Speleological Society members in Alaska that started publishing a publication called The Alaskan Caver. This represented the trips that these people made under the auspice of the Alaska Cave Areas Conservation Task Force. Those people included Chuck Peace, Warren Smith, Thomas and Nancy Hallinan, James Hedges, William Halliday, Jay Rockwell, David Klinger, people who have caved in the Northwest and the western part of the U.S. Some of those names will be familiar. In 1978, after more and more people started moving to the state, and it was realized that we had a fairly extensive karst and cave network and resource here in the state of Alaska, they organized themselves as the Glacier Grotto.
Karst.
Which stands for?
Well, David explains a little bit more about what karst is.
So caving in Alaska is quite varied. They can be limestone caves. They can be ice caves under glaciers. We have a few caves also in lava tubes throughout in different parts of the state. Caving can be quite varied, but of late, most of the effort in cave exploration has been occurring in southeast Alaska in karst. And what karst is, it's a soluble bedrock, usually calcium carbonates, in which the caves are formed through dissolution by acidic waters moving through a basic rock and eroding it into the cavities underground that become these fantastic caves.
Now, I have been caving once or twice up in the Mother Lode area, in the Murphy's, California area. There's the California Caves, Mercer Caverns, and Moaning
Caverns.
Caverns,
Yep.
right. Here's some misconceptions of caving that David brings up.
You know, the misconceptions about caving is that it's dangerous, and it can be dangerous if you're unprepared, if you're unskilled, if you don't go with groups like the Glacier Grotto that know what they're doing, know how to do it safely, and with proper preparation and gear, you offset the risk. It's like recently in Norway, what did they say? There's no bad weather, there's just bad clothing.
And that's the stuff that's important as well, because there is a danger factor. It's not just romance and watching a movie. Well, actually, watching a movie, you wouldn't want to go into a cave at all.
No.
They're very good backlots for horror flicks. But yeah, there's so many risks involved, yet the rewards are going to be something special. It's almost like a very small percentage of people actually see this stuff.
And that's interesting because he brings up some of the things that you would normally see in caves.
We have found cave invertebrates, various kinds. There are amphipods that I helped one of the insect biologists collect that are unique to the cave systems on Prince of Wales. That was Kent Carlson. There are planaria. There are different invertebrates probably that we haven't even found yet. I was in a cave early on when I started caving in the early 90s, called Blue Marble Cave. And you drop down into the cave and you hit a stream passage. You kind of tee into a stream passage, and there's a stream running along the bottom of the cave passage, and then it goes out and eventually goes, subterranean, and you can't follow it anymore. But in that isolated section, there were caddisfly hatching when we were down there mapping. And you find subsurface organisms, rainbow trout, cutthroat trout in the streams, and some of the streams connect back to the surface, and runs of salmon run through there.
And after speaking to Anna, just looking up that Mammoth Cave in, where was that?
Kentucky?
Yeah. I mean, it was talking about cave shrimp and gypsum minerals or flowers and glistening crystalline. I mean, because there's got to be versions of what you see when you scuba dive. There's got to be iridescent things and stuff that glows and stuff that I don't know. It's got to be some crazy stuff that lives down there.
So David talks about the purpose, or what Glacier Grotto stands for, their mission statement.
One of the purposes of the Glacier Grotto: promote interest, advance study and understanding in the science of speleology, to protect and preserve the caves and their natural contents, and to promote fellowship amongst cavers. And the resources found in caves in Southeast, and caves actually everywhere in the world, vary from biological to hydrological to geological, archaeology. There's ancient human remains in a lot of caves, including those here in Southeast. There's paleontological remains dating back to before 40,000 years ago. You can see changes in the environment through time as the climate has changed. So they're really fascinating from a variety of different standpoints.
Here are some final thoughts from David about going out and checking out the cave networks out there. And by the way, you can check out your local grotto by going to caves.org.
So the advice I would give folks is to contact your local caving group. Throughout the states, there are caving organizations. Those organizations have regular meetings. You can then meet people who are experienced and know how to safely do this activity, and you can attend training sessions on how to rig your gear, how to ascend and descend, how to do everything, how to do things safely, how to do rescues. And there's a lifelong participation you can take in development of your skill set that you can continue throughout your life. So the best way to get a hold of the Glacier Grotto is through myself, David Love. I can be reached through the NSS, the National Speleological Society, or people can contact me at pandal@yahoo.com, pandalid@yahoo.com. If you have an interest in the expedition, please get a hold of me several months ahead of time, and we'll work out the details over the course of the next few months of when we're going to meet and when that expedition's going to occur. You're listening to Life in 16 Ounces. What's in your pint? In mine is caving in the temperate rainforests of Southeast Alaska in some of the most amazing karst found in North America.
Speaking of going deep, just for fun, I looked up caving shirts.
Yeah.
And there's obviously caving, spelunking, whatever. They have some really interesting, fun shirts. So it's one of those hobbies where it's kind of cool to actually buy the merch.
Well, thank you to all of our guests who were kind and brave enough to step up in front of the microphone and share what's in their pot. And it looks like we are approaching last call.
Let's head back into the ring for Beer Dome, where 2 beers enter, but only 1 leaves.
But both get drunk.
Oh, yeah.
So, to kind of paint a picture here, I brought my best winter ale forward, which was introduced to me by my sister. She brought the beer down from Washington. And
yeah, I think we both agreed that January is a good time to introduce winter beers. So you already had one in mind. It kind of led us down that primrose path to where we are right now.
However,
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. So I brought to the table a pale, and you showed up with a brown
ale.
Yeah. So to do, I mean,
right off the bat, even if we completely explained which beer was which,
we would have to be blindfolded in order to not know which one was which.
And our audience members are kind of dwindling here. Yeah, they're all in their own bubbles right now.
Well, so we've I guess we've hydrated and we've written down our ratings from 1 to 5.
Yep, we have. It's really cool, by the way. Thank you for creating this beer flight tasting platform that you have now for our Beer Dome beer.
Oh yes, jolly good. Well, let's see what beer takes it on the chin, and which one goes to the mat. Okay, let's start with appearance. I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4.
Well, look at that. All right, so moving on to aroma, I scored it a 5.
I gave it a 4.
Okay. Taste, I don't know, something about it. I give it a 3.
I gave it a 3.
Huh. Mouthfeel, a 3 as well.
I gave it a 2.
Oh wow. Well, we must have been on the same page somehow. Finish, I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 3.
Pretty dang close. All right, moving on to the Biofrost.
Which is Brandon's.
Yeah, that's mine.
From Elysian.
Yeah.
Which is
Elysian.
Elysian.
Yeah, no, there's no M, it's an N.
Elysian. Well, I'm always gonna say it sounds like the heaven from the movie Gladiator.
Yeah.
Hey, you'll find yourself in Elysium.
Appearance was a 4.
I gave it a 3 point. Damn it, Brandon! I'm bringing in half points.
Oh my god!
Because you threw this whole thing. It's unfiltered, and I went, oh fine.
Oh,
laziness.
Yeah.
I'll give him their.
I forgot to mention that.
I gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
I'll make up for it in the end. Trust me.
Aroma was a 3 for me.
I gave it a 2.5.
2.5. You may be onto something.
I think I am.
Taste was a 3.
I gave it a 3.5.
Half numbers.
Get the fractions next, bitch.
Yeah, you lost me. Mouthfeel 3.
I gave it a 2.5.
At least we're within a point.
Exactly. That's what I said. If you're going to give it a 0.5, make sure all the ones are 0.5s because I suck at math.
And the finish, I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3 as well.
Okay. Well, we're tracking.
Well, while we send our numbers into a gigantic calculating machine to tally up the scores, what beer would you have again and why?
So with the Electric Reindeer, the brown I thought really shined through. And truly, I think both of us are really brown fans.
Yes, and I have, which is amazing. If you go into Sun King beer, I think it is .com, they actually have the entire recipe laid out for you. Maybe not exactly what you want as a home brewer to be able to brew this type of beer, but they mention the hops, they mention the malts. So I'm interested if you want to talk a little bit more about it, why you might have liked it or disliked it. I have an idea why I might have not liked it, but go ahead.
Okay, well, the nose on this thing was amazing, I thought.
I agree.
Tons of different spices.
And I didn't want to tell you the molasses and the ginger.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't even get to that.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I'll tell you what I did smell. It was eggnog.
Really?
Yeah, I got an eggnog and a nutmeg smell on it.
Okay, I don't like eggnog, so I don't even know what that smells like or tastes like.
I love it. Cinnamon as well.
Yeah,
And
watch the December episode. You can tell how much he likes it.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, all of those combined really did speak to a winter ale to me.
Yeah, and I put down that it smells spot on if you read the label even further, which I didn't want to do in the beer dome, ring entrance.
Well, then go ahead and read it now, and I'll read mine.
Well, okay, so underneath where it says Electric Reindeer, it says brown ale with ginger and molasses. So
that's the only description it gives.
Right, but I mean,
Okay.
that's what I got. I mean, if you have ginger, which I'm not going to go out and buy a ginger beer just because it has ginger in it. I'm not going to go and get ginger ale because I like ginger ale, but I know the properties of ginger and I know how amazing it is. I would definitely, take it whenever I'm flying or
Sure.
I need to kind of recover from injury or from a sickness. I mean, I think ginger has those kind of amazing properties.
Yeah.
Plus, if you mix up the word ginger, no, I'm just kidding.
Don't do that. No, I felt as though that I would have more than one of these brews in a sitting session. All right, so on to the Biofrost. It's hard.
Wait a minute.
What's that?
But let me just throw this out there about
Okay.
the Electric Reindeer. I gave it a 2 in the mouthfeel because I felt it dropped off on its maltiness that I wanted from the brown ale, and it felt watery.
I kind of feel the same way. It did. It was like a roller coaster when you went up to the top, right, with all the flavors.
It looks amazing, smells amazing, and then you put it in your mouth and you go,
And it was gone. There were no lingering flavors.
Yeah,
right?
the ginger was fine in there, but I wanted more brown ale balance. There you go.
More maltiness.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I would agree. It's not there.
Biofrost. You should get an extra point just because of the cool name.
It is. So this...
Or something Biofrost. Bifrost.
Bifrost. I know. I was thinking the Biofrost. Same thing.
It's Biosphere.
This was difficult because to put a pale up against a brown, two different worlds, really.
Yeah, strange.
But there wasn't much aroma on this one.
No, I wrote down nothing.
Yeah, I didn't get anything off of that. It was a bit boozy, also. That I just for mouthfeel.
Yeah, true. I gave it I said not smooth. Something just didn't click right where I expected it, and it wasn't there.
I also said that it was probably better ice cold.
Ooh, that's probably true.
Yeah. The description on the Bifrost is that it's a lively winter brew, a bold pale ale with citrus and earthy hop character, balanced by a smooth malt backbone.
Ooh, yeah, no, that's a lot. That's a lot to claim.
Yeah, it is.
I got
the earthiness
I got a little
was
bit
definitely
of,
there.
Yeah, that's what turned me off in a way. And the citrus was there, but it wasn't there. And then really the multi. No, it seemed like they were fighting each other, and one never actually succeeded over the other to really make this. Well, like they said, a bold. I don't know if it's bold at all.
Yeah, I think that they have a stalemate on their hands.
Yeah, it was like the Russians in the Vikings. Just finished watching Vikings, by the way. That's why I threw that out there. I know, folks. I'm a little bit behind. Jeez, binge watchers. All right, so let me throw some numbers at you, and then we'll come back. My total came to. No, granted, I didn't add the finish.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that's just a extra layer of not worthiness. But
okay.
All right, so I'm going to give you my numbers, and then we'll get back to you with the scores in 1 second.
And here come the final scores in a sealed envelope. Before we reveal the winner, which beer do you think is which?
I initially coming into this, I thought my beer was gonna rock, but I felt it kind of fell flat. But then when I tasted yours, I'm thinking, wait a minute, his kind of doesn't have everything that I expected it would either. And I love beers from Elysian.
Yes.
And I thought Bifrost was one of their more solid beers, but I felt it was very close. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe mine, just because of maybe taste and aroma. I don't know. Slight taste and aroma.
I would say that you probably hit it right on, and I felt that way too. I thought I had a really strong contender coming into this thing with a winter ale, but with what you had brought to the table with your brown, kind of left me a little confused, I guess. So
that's called a left punch to the uppercut.
Yeah, it is.
You never knew I knew how to left punch, did you?
All right, so your numbers for Bifrost are
12.
That's funny. I have a 12 as well.
Okay.
So there's 24. That's easy.
All right.
Okay, so 24 versus your Electric Reindeer score was?
I gave it a 13.
I have a 15. So that's 28.
It's more than 24.
Yeah, it is. So by 3 points, it looks like the winner of this month's Beer Dome is the
Sun King Brewery's Electric Reindeer Brown Ale with ginger molasses.
You son of a mother.
Oh, man, I sneaked in another one. All right, folks, forget Twister and play this game at your next party or brewery visit. Patent pending board game, all rights reserved, legal speak, blah, 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 we will sue you.
Well, more about these two beers can be found by going to ElysianBrewing.com and
SunKingBrewery.com.
There are the lights, and it's closing time.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here in the pub for a pint.
Please continue to support us by sharing and subscribing to our show. Visit lifein16ounces.com and check out our social media sites for more of our usual crack.
Our email is lifein16ounces@gmail.com to suggest show ideas and pitch a story.
This episode was stitched together with help from a lot of Christmas return gifts and shattered New Year's resolutions.
Ooh, so harsh. Well, music is by A Hazy Shade of Winter by Simon & Garfunkel, Wintertime Love by The Doors, Coldest Winter by Kanye West. That's right, I dropped a Kanye West. All right, that's it, folks. Join us next month on Life in 16 Ounces. Cheers. Salancha.